Ever wondered how a single swing can change the course of baseball history? Today, we're diving into the life of power hitter Kyle Schwarber.
Hey there, I'm Leah, feeling super excited to chat about today's powerhouse topic.
And I'm Garrett, equally pumped to explore this one. Welcome to Laid Back Learning with Leah and Garrett.
Today we're unveiling the story of Kyle Schwarber, the baseball powerhouse known for his game-changing home runs and a career arc that keeps bending the spotlight his way. Okay, quick story. I once tried to hit a ball out of the park at a local batting cage. Full determination, eye black, I absolutely did not need the works. I connected on one pitch and it trickled about 10 feet. The teen running the machine said, "Nice contact. I mean, that's generous." Ever since then, watching Kyle Schwarber launch baseballs into orbit feels like sorcery. The margin between my grounder and his moonshots is the Grand Canyon.
Let's set the scene. Kyle Schwarber is an American professional baseball player, a left-handed slugger who plays mostly left field and designated hitter. Designated hitter, or DH, he bats in place of the pitcher and doesn't play defense that day. He's played for the Chicago Cubs, Washington Nationals, Boston Red Sox, and now the Philadelphia Phillies. He's become a case study in what people call a three true outcomes hitter. Many plate appearances end in one of three ways: a home run, a walk, or a strikeout. Fewer singles, lots of big swings, and a ton of patience to draw walks.
And with Schwarber, the three true outcomes thing really shows. In 2023, he walked a whopping 126 times and hit 47 home runs, even while batting .197, which is under what's called the Mendoza line, that informal .200 average marker. Sounds wild, right? But it works because he still creates runs. Little context on his defensive journey. Earlier in his career with the Cubs, he split time between catcher and outfield. Later, with the Red Sox in 2021, he even learned first base on the fly to fit the lineup. Now, he's mostly corner outfield and DH, where his bat drives the value. Managers often bat him leadoff. A leadoff home run is simply one hit by the first batter of the game, and Schwarber's set records doing exactly that.
Early days, Schwarber grew up in Middletown, Ohio. He was a multi-sport kid, a standout in baseball, and a linebacker in football, which kind of explains that tough-as-nails vibe. He even did show choir, which I love because it hints at that outgoing clubhouse glue personality people talk about. At Indiana University, he became a star, freshman All-American in 2012, first-team All-American in 2013, and a Johnny Bench Award finalist in 2014. That's the award for top collegiate catcher, even though scouts were already wondering if a corner outfield or first base move would unlock his bat faster.
And don't forget his Cape Cod Baseball League run with the Wareham Gatemen, that elite wood bat summer league for college players. In 2012, he helped them win the title and was playoff MVP, and in 2019, he was inducted into the Cape Cod League Hall of Fame. The Cubs drafted him 4th overall in 2014, really betting on that big league bat. He sprinted through the minors that summer, hitting .344 with 18 homers across 3 levels. In 2015, he shined in the All-Star Futures game and was MVP after a clutch triple. The Cubs called him up soon after.
The debut burst was wild. He had a 4-hit game as a designated hitter right away. Then in July 2015, he smashed a game-tying homer in the 9th and the go-ahead in the 13th against the Reds, the team he grew up rooting for. In October that year, he homered in the wild card game and twice in the division series, including that iconic shot onto the top of Wrigley Field's new scoreboard. The Cubs put that ball behind plexiglass. By the NLCS, he'd already set a franchise mark for postseason homers at his age. That's the origin story of Schwarber as an October problem for pitchers.
Then came the 2016 curveball. Early April, an outfield collision, and he tore his ACL and LCL in his left knee. Season over, or so everyone thought. Theo Epstein, the Cubs' president of baseball operations, had refused trade overtures that summer that would have included Schwarber, which showed how highly they valued his bat. Fast forward to October. He gets medically cleared to hit only, not field. He grabbed live at bats in the Arizona Fall League to find his timing, then slid onto the World Series roster as a DH when games were in the American League Park. He hit .12 with a .500 on-base percentage, first MLB position player ever to get his first hit of a season in the World Series. Oh, and the Cubs win their first title in 108 years. That's so wild.
2017 was choppy. He even took a reset in AAA midseason, but still finished with 30 homers. In 2018, he showed up leaner and made the Home Run Derby final in D.C., finishing runner-up to Bryce Harper. By 2019, he popped 38 homers, while pitchers started feeding him more curveballs than almost anyone, about 14.7%, trying to disrupt that fastball lift he punishes. Then, 2020 was a tough shortened season, .188 average, and the Cubs non-tendered him. Non-tender just means the team declined to offer a contract, making him a free agent.
Fresh start in 2021 with the Washington Nationals on a one-year deal. They wanted his lefty thump to support Juan Soto. June was bonkers. Schwarber hit 16 homers in an 18-game stretch, tying franchise and near MLB records, and even tied Frank Howard's mark with 11 in 9 games. A hamstring strain paused it, and at the deadline, Washington traded him to the Boston Red Sox for pitching prospect Aldo Ramirez. He learned first base on the fly, hit .291 with a big on-base clip, and in the ALCS, he launched a grand slam. The Sox set an MLB record with 3 grand slams in 2 games that series. They didn't advance, but his power moments kept stacking.
Then Philadelphia. In March 2022, he signed a 4-year, $79 million deal. First at bat as a Philly, he homered. In June, he won National League Player of the Month with 12 homers. By season's end, he led the NL with 46 homers and led MLB in fly ball rate at about 51%. Quick note, a high fly ball rate means tons of balls in the air, which boosts home runs but usually lowers batting average because many fly balls are routine outs. It's a trade-off. That October, he hit the farthest StatCast measured homer at Petco Park in the NLCS. StatCast is MLB's tracking system for exit velocity and distance. Then in the World Series, he led all players with 3 homers, including a game-tying leadoff shot off Justin Verlander and another off Framber Valdez. They fell short, but the imprint was there.
And the vibes. He brings the song Dancing on My Own into the Phillies clubhouse as a post-win anthem, and it turned into a whole citywide sing-along during that 2022 pennant run. Close to his heart, he founded Schwarber's Neighborhood Heroes to honor first responders like police, fire, and EMTs. He hosts Schwarber's Block Party, a fundraiser he launched in Chicago and revived in Philly in 2023 at Yards Brewing. Family service roots really thread through that part of his life.
International stage. He committed to Team USA for the 2023 World Baseball Classic, which is basically the Sports World Cup. He homered in the opener and again in the championship game off Yu Darvish. The U.S. finished runners-up. In the 2023 MLB season, he was the ultimate modern hitter. .197 average, 47 homers, 126 walks, and a league-leading 215 strikeouts across 720 plate appearances. On April 4th, he hit his 200th career homer. In October 2023, he passed Reggie Jackson for most postseason homers by a left-handed batter, and by the end of 2025, he'd extended that to 23, tying George Springer for third most postseason homers overall. He also set the record for most homers in NLCS play and for postseason leadoff homers with 5 by that time.
2024 was fireworks too. He had 2 separate 3-homer games. In one, he went 5 for 6 with 6 RBI and hit a go-ahead 3-run shot in the 9th. He also set the MLB single-season record for leadoff homers with 14. Late in 2024, he started a 47-game on-base streak that carried into 2025. In 2025, he hit his 300th career homer in May, became just the second Philly ever to reach 30 homers before the All-Star break, then won All-Star Game MVP in a new tiebreaker swing-off format. He notched his 1,000th career hit with a homer, and hilariously had 319 homers already at that milestone, an MLB record for most homers at the time of a player's 1,000th hit. He recorded the first 4-homer game of his career in late August, finished with 50-plus homers on the season, and set an MLB record for a lefty with most homers off left-handed pitchers in a season. He ended 2025 second in NL MVP voting behind Shohei Ohtani, and he re-signed with Philly for 5 years that December. In 2026, he hit career home run number 350, made another All-Star team, reached the Home Run Derby final in Philadelphia and finished runner-up to Jordan Walker, and returned to the WBC, homering again for Team USA as they finished runners-up.
Here's a twist I love. He's the only person to homer in the Little League World Series, the MLB World Series, and a World Baseball Classic final. That's a career arc across totally different pressure cookers, from Williamsport to the Fall Classic to the WBC stage. That's pretty cool, right?
So let's get to the heart of the big question. Does the power-first, low-average trade-off actually help teams more than it hurts over the long run? I say yes, because run creation is king, and walks plus homers create runs efficiently. Quick definitions. OBP is on-base percentage, how often you reach base. SLG is slugging, how many bases per at-bat. OPS combines those, and OPS Plus scales it to league and park where 100 is average. Schwarber's OBP and SLG combine to produce top-tier OPS numbers despite the average. Pair that with setting the tone as a leadoff threat, and pitchers are in crisis mode from pitch 1. He lifts run expectancy immediately, and you can feel the game script tilt.
I hear you, and I love big swings as much as anyone. But here's my why. In tight playoff games, situational hitting matters. A two-strike single the other way can be gold when you just need one run. High strikeout profiles sometimes limit those options. If pitchers are flooding you with spin and you're selling out for lift, that can produce cold spells. And when the ball isn't in play, you can't advance runners with contact plays. I'm not anti-Schwarber at all. I'm just saying, teams need complementary bats to balance the approach so the lineup isn't all or nothing in every spot.
Totally fair. Here's where I'd counter. Schwarber's walk rate cushions the floor. Even during cold stretches, he's still reaching base a ton, which keeps rallies alive for the hitters behind him, whether that's Bryce Harper or whoever is hot. He improved against left-on-left matchups in 2025 to a record-setting level, so managers couldn't just flip a lefty reliever and feel safe. If you're batting him leadoff, a deep fly ball that's an out in most cases is still a good trade to get that 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 chance of the ball leaving the yard over time. In simple terms, the math works out because the home runs are worth so much.
Yeah, that checks out in the big picture. My last point is roster construction. If you've got Schwarber's power and patience leading off, you probably want more contact-heavy bats behind him to diversify looks for pitchers. The league adjusted to him with more curveballs in 2019, for instance, and teams basically said, if you're going to hurt us, it won't be on a center-cut four-seamer. His counter is to be selectively aggressive and torch mistakes, which he does. Net-net, I think it benefits the team. You just need the right mix, so the lineup has multiple ways to beat you.
Pop culture ripple. I love that a song choice, Dancing on My Own, became a city anthem. It sports as shared soundtrack. His home run derby showings, both in 2018 and the 2026 runner-up run at home in Philly, are entertainment value meeting skill. Also, quick shout to his Players Weekend nickname, Schwarbs. It fits. Short, punchy, and you can practically hear the bat whip when you say it.
All right, let's run a what-if. In 2016, the Cubs needed late-inning relief and eventually traded for Aroldis Chapman. What if they had traded Schwarber for a premium reliever instead? If he's gone, you probably don't get that World Series DH miracle. No 500 on base in October, no middle-of-the-order at-bats that extended innings. Maybe the bullpen is even stronger, but the Cubs won Game 7 by the thinnest margins. Without Schwarber's presence earlier in the series, do they even get to that exact moment the same way? That's something to chew on.
And for Schwarber himself, the alternate path is wild. Say he goes to a different contender, maybe an American League club with a short right field porch where a pull-side lefty can feast. He might have built a totally different October reel somewhere else. But then you lose the Chicago Legend chapter, and maybe he doesn't become the same clubhouse tone setter who later brings that energy to Philadelphia. Real talk. Human fit and timing matter. The Cubs kept him, He pulled off an unprecedented comeback, and that became part of baseball lore.
And the strategic lesson there is neat. The Cubs used roster flexibility to deploy Schwarber as a bat-only DH on the road, a highly specialized move that paid off. If they trade him, you remove that option entirely. Maybe the bullpen is a tick better, but you're also removing a lever you actually pulled in the most important series of the century for that franchise. Butterfly effects everywhere.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Kyle Schwarber's world.
Stay curious and catch you next time on Laid Back Learning.